So today I want to talk about this movement called MGTOW, and there are other offshoots of this movement, but today I'd like to speak about MGTOW and what the significance of this movement is, how it came about, and where it's going, and at least in my opinion, where it's going. So with MGTOW, this is something that the movement that a lot of guys say it's called red pill. Red pill. Men gone their own way. And this came about with a lot of men who are just fed up with the way, really just the state of affairs with the relations between men and women in this country. Dating, marriages, I mean, you name it, feminism. Men are just tired of it. Because America's pushed this agenda for so long. Women have bought into it. This movement that, women can always be happy and people can always be happy and, happy wife, happy life. We have to put your woman on a pedestal. This nonsense like that. And this has been going on for a long time now. I mean, I'm not that old, but, it's been going on, I would say, probably that I can see. I mean, I could be wrong. It's probably started much longer. I mean, like the whole women's liberation movement is when it started, but I think I started seeing a lot of this stuff back in the 90s when I was younger. But I was really too young to notice a lot of that stuff. But anyway, here we are in 2019 in MGTOW. And, this movement is really gaining a lot of steam. There are a lot of guys on YouTube and a lot of other social media outlets just basically saying, look, we're tired of women. We're not getting married. We don't want to date you. Or if we do date you, we're just going to run through you, pump and dump you. And look, I get it. I've seen women out here. I know what it is. I understand how feminism destroys women's minds. It sells them a false bill of goods. Right? And I said a long time ago, I said that, this whole feminism, this whole women empowerment, this whole, women can have their cake and eat it too, and this stuff can only go but so far until it really it implodes on itself. What I like to say, I like to say it's called the pussy bubble. The pussy bubble is going to pop. See, I think women have overplayed their hand, with this whole, I'm a woman, put me on a pedestal, you have to come and you have to give me what I want, and if you want me, you're going to have to wine me and dine me, and it's all about me. A lot of men nowadays, just especially guys who've dated and guys who've been through marriages, they're tired of it. Not to say that there aren't good women out here, but look, it's not worth your time to deal with a lot of these women out here. They're delusional. I mean, at the end of the day, if a woman has nothing going on upstairs, what does she have to offer you besides sex? Nothing. That's all she has. And once you get the sex, you hit it a few times, I mean, you're bored already because she has nothing going on upstairs. She's got no conversation. She has no personality. You really never liked her anyway. So it's like you've moved on. And a lot of guys have been through this. We've seen it. And it's like it's not worth your while. I mean, you can kind of spot some of these women out here. They're on Instagram. They're all over Facebook. They're all over social media. They're attention whores. They really have nothing going on upstairs. They have no personality. All they do, they use their looks to pretty much, get men's attention. And that's all they really want for the most part. They want to get men's attention, and they want you to make them feel better by you giving them attention. Like the type of woman who goes out to a restaurant and she's the loudest one out there. She's wearing the most makeup out of all her friends, and she wants to make her presence known, and she's looking around to see who's noticing her the whole time. It's like women like her. Are just a waste of time. I've seen it. And fortunately for me, I don't know why, but I never really went for women like that. I never preferred or desired women like that. Like the woman who was always, with makeup caked up on her face, and the one who was the loudest and who dress the most revealing. I never went for women like that. Women like that to me just never appealed to me. I always just saw it was just something about them I knew was just I didn't want it. I felt like I feel like the work that I put in was not worth the reward that awaited me after I, won the prize. Because women like that have nothing to offer. So what I'm going to say is this: is that this has gone on for so long. The pussy bubble is popping. What I'm saying is more and more men are waking up to the fact that what's going on and the things that these women are doing, the hoops that they're making you jump through, the joy that they are extracting from your life is just not worth it. So a lot of guys now, really, what they're doing is they're calling these women's bluff. They're saying, look, I'm not putting up with you. I'm not going to do everything you want me to do. Life does not revolve around you, woman. And if you can't get with that, then you know what? I'd rather just go my own way and just do my own thing. I don't need to have you around. So what you have now is that you have a bunch of women who really, a lot of these women out here, let's face it, they're lonely. They're single, and they're lonely, and they're miserable, and they put on these fronts that they're living a perfect life, a happy life, that they're so great. But if you're so great, why are you on Instagram posting every day? I mean, that's telling me one or two things. Certainly you don't have a man, because if you had a man, you would be posting all day like that. And then two, your life is not as fulfilling as you make it out to be. Because if it was really fulfilling, would you really be taking pictures all day long? I don't think so. I mean, unless you're a brand ambassador for different products and services, yeah, you get paid off of it. But a lot of these girls on Instagram aren't getting paid on anything. They're just doing it just to do it, because it makes them feel good to feel wanted by various men. And the problem is that these same women who are out here, when the average guy goes out and approaches them at the gym or when they're out and about, they have an inflated sense of self-worth. Their ego's inflated because they feel like, oh, I've got 30,000 followers on Instagram, so I'm something special. But but this woman fails to realize is that most of the average guy doesn't give two damns about you anyway. He's just following you because you're showing off your butt and your body, right? That's all he wants to see. And let's face it, half the guys on Instagram, I mean, more than half, probably I'd say 75% of the guys on Instagram that follow her and comment on her, she wouldn't want those guys anyway. So when she disses you, when she turns you down the street, it's under false pretenses that she really has options. She has no options, or very few, because all the guys that she thinks desire her, I mean, it's like it's a phantom. It's a mirage. And then the guys that she does have maybe around, they just want to get, laid. They don't really care about her or really like her. So she's in a precarious place. She's like in a twilight zone. She's in her own world. It's not until a woman really gets older until she realizes that, and actually sometimes some women are in their 40s and they still don't get it. Unfortunately, they don't get it. But the average woman will wise up somewhere around 30, 35. And at that point, unfortunately, when she wises up and she realizes that, this life that she was leading, it was all vanity, it was all nonsense, that she really turned down a lot of good men. But unfortunately, what happens is that she's 35 and she's washed up. Most guys who are 35 aren't looking at, they're not looking for a girl who's 35 unless she's hot. And most of the times, the average American woman at 35, she doesn't work out. She doesn't take care of herself, so she's not that hot. She's borderline. And on top of that, what happens is that women are very emotional. So what happens is that women, they don't unpack bags, which means that every bad relationship, every situation where she's been used and abused or whatever, she holds on to all that baggage. And by the time she's in her mid-30s, for the most part, she's undateable because she's an emotional wreck. You can't date her. She has so much garbage that she's held on to. good luck dating her and having a relationship because she's out of her mind. I mean, let's face it. A lot of guys, we're not as emotional, so we don't hang on to things like women do. Not to say that we don't, we can't get spoiled along the way, and we can't pick up bad habits. But for the most part, we can forgive, we can forget, we can move on. But women just have a harder time doing that. But again, going back to my point, the pussy bubble is popping, and women have overplayed their hand, and they're gonna find themselves lonely. More and more women are gonna find themselves unmarried, with no kids, and lonely. Especially in these larger cities, New York City, L.A., Atlanta, Miami. You're gonna see a lot of women in their 40s, mid-30s, unmarried and lonely, because they bought into this whole idea that I'm all that. I can have anything I want to have, and if you're a man, you better have a 6-figure job and a house and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And there are a lot of good men that they looked over. And now, the clock and Father Time has not been kind to them. And, a lot of guys that they looked over in the past, they probably try to reach back out to them. This has happened to me firsthand. And when they reach back, we're not checking for them. There's no way. We're not checking for them. It's not going to happen. I mean, if you have any good sense, you're not checking for them. I mean, come on. Have some self-respect. It's not because you're trying to spite them. It's because, look, you got kids. You got mental baggage. You haven't taken care of yourself. Let yourself go. I mean, look. Most men are going to get with somebody who's younger and with less baggage and hopefully no kids. That's just the way it is. Anyways, let me know what you think. Drop me a comment. And thanks for listening. Peace.